All right, and we are live. What's up, Notjust developers? Welcome to a new live stream. In today's video, we're gonna do something very exciting, and we're gonna continue our video calling application in order to implement all the features for a video calling application to be in React Native using Voximplant SDK. So what exactly we're gonna do? We're gonna start by implementing the logic on top of the logic that we already have from the previous video from the UI, and we're gonna implement calling someone, displaying your video, being able to share the video with other person, and on the other side, like responding, displaying again like the other person's video, and doing all these events of listening to incoming calls, answering, declining, displaying your camera or hiding your camera, and so on. So it's going to be a lot of features, and this is a bit more complicated video than we are used to on this channel, but I'm gonna go step by step. I'm gonna show you everything that you have to do in order to have this functional video calling application similar to WhatsApp, Zoom, or any other call, FaceTime, and so on. Let me know if everything is, if you can hear me. Yeah, your voice coming double. That's weird. My voice is coming double. Is it for everyone? Echo. Why is that happening? Microphone. Okay, one moment, I think And what about now? Can you hear me now? Is it better? I don't know, let's hope that it's better now. Yes, it is. Awesome. So, back to our presentation. Here we are. Let's continue. So, thank you very much, Voximplant, for sponsoring this video. And we're going to use Voximplant SDK today in order to implement these video calling features. So, in a couple of words, Voximplant is a cloud solution that gives you the possibility to implement features related to communication, being it message communication or voice communication, voice calls, or even video communication. And with their cloud provider, the serverless cloud solution, you can implement a lot of use cases. It's very flexible, and it depends on you what you're trying to build and how you're going to use it. So more specifically, what can be done with Voximplant? I listed here a couple of use cases, starting with a virtual call center, where you can have your operators on a web page and answering to the support calls and so on. You can also build audio and video conferencing application like Clubhouse or Zoom or Google Meets, Teams, and any other conferencing application, or a peer-to-peer audio and video calling application like WhatsApp or FaceTime. And this is the use case that we are going to build today. It's going to be a peer-to-peer communication between two users, and I'm going to speak more about the advantages of this later in the video. And also you can build live streaming application like Twitch, YouTube. It's pretty versatile and flexible. And here are the APIs and SDK that they are providing. They have like a web SDK that supports JavaScript, and also they give you Android SDK, iOS, React Native. Very good. We're going to use the React Native SDK, as you can guess, and other SDKs like Flutter and Unity. Someone asked me about the pricing of Voximplant. For this specific, you can visit Voximplant/pricing, but here I'm going to talk about for the specific use case that we're going to build today, which is going to be a peer-to-peer calling application. And for this use case, the it's the minutes of the call minutes, both for voice and for video, are free because all the data is going directly to the other person, not through the cloud. That's why it is free. The only thing that you're gonna have to pay for is the monthly active users. And here you can see for example, for a small application up to 5,000 monthly active users, you're gonna pay $100 per month. So that's not a lot when you think about how much features and possibilities Voximplant gives us. All right, so what would you need to do to have in order to follow along this tutorial? First of all, you're gonna need the asset bundle, which you can get at the link assets.notjust.dev/video call. And there, for this video, the most important part you're gonna have is this presentation, where I included a lot of source codes like this. So you're gonna be able to follow along, and in some places it's gonna save you some time. Also, React Native environment setup. If you don't have it already, check out this video. And as I said, this is the part 2 of our video calling application. Today we're going to focus on the backend functionalities and integration with Voximplant. But in the first video, which we did previous week, we have built the UI that we're going to use in this video. So if you want, you can follow along from the previous video, which you can find on this link, or you can clone the repository and check out the UI branch, and there is the code that we're going to use today to continue. All right, so after that, you should be ready to go, and in a moment we're going to get started. So let's roll the intro. Hello everyone, how is it going? See a lot of new people here. Okay, can't wait for the coding. Yeah, me too. We're gonna do a lot of coding today. Sweet, hello Grant. Omar, yes, I'm here. Hi guys. All right, so because we have a lot of things to do today, I would suggest to get started. So the first step is to set up our Voximplant application in the cloud. So for that, we are gonna have to sign up for a free account for Voximplant here. Let's open the URL now. Should be somewhere around here. Okay, I'm already registered. I'm gonna log out. And here you can create a free account either using your Google or GitHub. So in my case, I already have an account, so I'm gonna just join real quick there. All right, so the first step is to create an account. That's done. The next step is to create an application. Let's open the side menu in Voximplant and let's go to the applications. I already have a couple of them here, but for you, you should see a big button in the middle, create application. Or here in the top right corner, let's press create application. And let's give it a name, video calling, I don't know, something like this. An optional description if you want. Let's leave this tick box as they are, and let's create this application. All right, now let's open our application. Where is it? Video calling. This is the one. And the next step is to create 2 test users. We're gonna need these 2 test users in order to create the communication between 2 users while developing it. So let's set them up right now and forget about that. Okay, on this page, let's click create user. and let's name user1. Let's give it a password. And here user1. Let's create. And let's create one more. User2 password. Remember the username and the passwords because we're gonna need them. And display name user2. Or if you forgot the username or password, you can go here, edit, and set a new password here. Right. So this is done. The first step is done. We created an account, created an application, and added 2 test users. All right, let's move to the next step. The next step is to create a scenario. So here I'm going to talk a little bit how Voximplant works. So basically, your serverless part that runs in cloud, we are able to program how this serverless function is going to work and what is going to do with our call whenever we, for example, are trying to call someone. And these functions in the cloud are called scenarios, and we can create multiple scenarios for our application. I don't know, let's say this makes a lot of sense for multiple scenarios for, let's say, virtual call center, where you say like all the persons that are calling on this specific number, they should be redirected there, or they should be redirected for this application, and so on. So all this cloud logic is built and is programmed as scenarios, and we do that by coding it in JavaScript. So for our because our application is a peer-to-peer calling application where one user is calling the other one and that data should follow from one to another, the only thing that our cloud function will do is just to redirect the call. Basically, whenever the cloud function receives an incoming call, it should redirect it to the person who is it intended for. And that's it. So basically, listening to a new call, when it receives, redirecting it where it needs to be going. So here I have the code that we need for our scenario. So let's copy it, and we're gonna look into what exactly it does in a moment. Here, back in our Voximplant dashboard, let's go to the scenarios. All right, so here, let's create a new scenario by adding the plus button, and we are gonna call it, I don't know, P2P, peer-to-peer. Let's enter. And here in the code editor, we can paste the scenario code that I provided you. So what it does, it works with a Vox engine, and it adds an event listener for call alerting. Basically, every time a call is registered in our cloud, what it should do, it should create a new call. Basically, we are calling the cloud is calling the other person. And who are we calling? We're calling a direct user based on the data that we receive. Event.call, event.destination, event.caller ID, display name, and then we just register this call in Vox engine. We process it. So let's save this scenario, and the next thing that we need to do is to create a rule for this scenario. And about rules, it's here. So going to the routing, this is the last step in order to make everything connected: users with scenarios and with the routes. So let's create a rule. The rule will be, again, peer-to-peer. So pattern. In this case, here we can specify for which phone numbers is this rule applying. So if you have different scenarios for different phone numbers, then here you will work with this pattern. In our case, we want the same scenario for all the phone numbers. Basically, the pattern here should be the dot star, meaning everything. And let's attach it to the scenario that we just created. So by creating this routing rule, we specified like what request should be managed by what cloud scenarios. So hopefully that makes sense. And this is everything that should be done in order to set up our application in cloud. The rest is going to be in our React Native application. So for that reason, let me open our Visual Studio Code. All right, here we go. Let me zoom in a bit. So yes, here we have it. Let's do npm start to start our development server. And in another terminal, let's do npm run Android or iOS. Basically, we're going to need both, but let's start with iOS. Okay, here it is. All right. I was looking why I cannot fit everything. This is good. And like this. Okay, perfect. Let's wait until the application is built and run on our device. All right. All right. Why it's taking so long to build? Come on, let's go. Vadim, what backend you are using? We're using Voximplant for the calling functionalities. If you're asking us about the data backend, I don't know, to keep the users and so on, we're not going to focus on that in this tutorial. This is out of scope for today. We're going to focus mostly on the calling functionalities between two users. So for that, we're going to use Voximplant. All right, so come on, you can do it. Application. Okay. So while our application is being built, let's have a look at what we need to do next. So the next thing is we need to implement a little bit of UI, basically a login screen where we will be able to authenticate a user with the Voximplant SDK. For that, we're going to need a username input, a password input, a button, and whenever we press on the sign in, we need to try to connect with the Voximplant SDK, sign up the user, sign in basically the user, and after that, redirect to our contacts screen. So after our application will be built, it failed to build it for my case for some because of some pods. So let me try to remove my node modules and install them again. And let's do npm install. All right, I'm getting lost with my mouses. Okay. And now let's, I'm gonna do npx pod install. But that's only if you're working on a macOS system. In our case, you don't need to do that. We can put a backend in front of it so we can have more control. You can put a backend for, I don't know, if you are integrating Voximplant in a different application. I don't know, let's say you have already an application for telehealth. I don't know, like doing appointments with your doctors or so on. So in that case, all your backend and database and API is going to be a simple, a different application, which can be done in any way, like, I don't know, AWS Amplify or Firebase or a notjust server or any other API that will handle the data backend. And then on top of that, you are going to implement the video calling functionalities with Voximplant. So in that case, you will be able to connect through tokens your database users with the users that are registered on Voximplant SDK. So yeah, you could do that as well. So okay, the last step is npm run iOS. Come on. Okay. Hello, thank you for your videos. I have a question. When is the next video on the series to create a complete authentication system? It's gonna come. I cannot promise. I didn't record them yet because last weeks I've been focusing a lot on the course that I'm working on and is expected to come and be open to the public by the beginning of the next year. So yeah, I'm investing a lot of time there. That's why for YouTube, I'm trying to at least keep it consistent with our weekly live streams. But I'm gonna definitely continue that series because that was the goal of those series, to create a complete authentication system both with Amplify, with social providers like Google, Facebook, and so on. So yeah, that's the goal. Time is the bottleneck. Like, we only have 24 hours a day, so. All right, build successfully, finally. Let's see the application. Here is our debugger. Let's already open our console. Okay. Okay, so here is our application. Now, yeah, we can see the calling screen. We can navigate from one to another. And we have other screens that we cannot navigate right now, like incoming call screen, that we're gonna use later in the video. So what I want to do now is to create a new screen for our navigation, right? For our sign in. So let's, in our screens folder, let's create a new folder called login screen, and let's create the file there, index.js. Here let's do React Native functional export, login screen, save. And for the text, let's just simply say login. Okay, now in our navigations index.js, let's import our login screen. Import login screen from screens, okay. And let's render it as the first screen before the contacts. So I'm gonna copy this one, and we can say login, and the component is gonna be login screen, save. And in our case, if it didn't automatically display the login screen, you can refresh, and after that it's gonna display the login screen here. Okay, so that's good. Let's now go to our login screen and start styling it. So what will we need? Before that, let me also define the style sheet. Const style dot create, and here in the style sheet we're gonna have all the styles. Let's call it styles. So our page will contain simply two text input with, let's import it firstly with a placeholder. First username, and let's also add a styles.input, and let's duplicate it for our password. Then we're gonna have a button. For the button, let's use the pressable. Let's import the pressable from React Native. Also the text we will need, because inside the pressable, we're gonna have this text, and the text is gonna be sign in. Let's give some style to this pressable. Styles.button. On press is gonna be sign in. Let's define this sign in function, and later we're gonna implement the logic of it. Right now it should be a simple function like this. And the last thing that we need to add here for our JSX is the styles for our page. Okay, with that being said, we see something, but now let's actually style them properly. So we're gonna have a page style, we're gonna have an input style, and we're gonna have a button style. Okay, so for the page, what I want to do is to, first of all, add some paddings. For example, 10 to add some space around it. Let's display the items in the center with align items center, or even better, align items stretch, in order to make the items go from one side to another. Right now it's not visible the effect, but if I give a background color to our background color, Dodger blue, to our button, you can see the effect of the align item stretch. Okay, and let's also make sure that our page takes the whole space, because if I add a background color red right now, it doesn't take the whole page. So if I add flex 1, it's going to take the whole page. And now we can align them, the items in the center, by doing justify content center, like this. Perfect. Let's remove the red. And yeah, that's good for our page. Now the input. The input is going to be, let's start with background color white to see them at least. Let's add some padding for them, like 10. And margin vertical 10 to have some space. This margin vertical we will need also on the button. So what else? I don't know, border radius 5, and that's it. Like, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here. Same for our button, padding, margin vertical, and border radius. Perfect. And we can also do align items center to align the text in the middle. Okay, so with the styles we are done. Now let's implement a little bit of logic, for example, to bind our text input to a state variable, because we need to access the username and the password here. So for that, we're gonna need a use state. And let's define the state for our two state variables, the username, set username, and let's do it for our password, and here set password, save. So the value to the text input, we're gonna send the username, and the on change text, we're gonna set the setter. The same thing for our password, value password, on change text, set password. Let's save. The password text input. Now we can write. The password text input should be secure text entry, because it's a password and should be like this. And for the text input here, let's say there is auto capitalize property that messes with, let's add none, because on iOS the username, the input automatically capitalizes letter, as you can see here, but that's not what we need. We want them to be as the user writes them. Okay, so we have everything related to, when it comes to React Native, we have our state variable for the username, password, the text inputs, and so on. So the UI is ready. We can even commit everything. Git add, git commit, login UI. Okay, now the next step. The next step is the interesting part, is we are getting started with Voximplant. So you can find the URL for the npm package here, but I'm gonna go ahead and install the Voximplant by doing npm install React Native Voximplant. And the only configuration that we need to do is, if we are on a Mac OS, to install the pods. Everything else is linked automatically, so we don't have to do anything except this. So because I'm on a Mac OS, I'm gonna do npx pod install. And we see that new pods are installing Voximplant SDK, WebRTC, and React Native. Perfect. Now let's do run iOS to rerun our application there. And our installation steps are done. The next step is to connect to our Voximplant client. Okay. All right, so to connect to our Voximplant client, first of all, we need to get access to the Voximplant SDK. So let's, in our login screen here, let's import Voximplant from React Native Voximplant, like this. Okay, so now in our body of our functional component, hello X Dreamland, let's get the Voximplant reference. So we're gonna do that using Voximplant.get instance save. Can I read property and define reading get? No, I already finished it. Come on. Oh, it's with lowercase. Voximplant like this. Okay, so all the errors disappeared. Now we have an instance to our Voximplant. The next step is to check the state of our client. If we are disconnected, we want to connect. So we are going to check the state of the connection in a use effect, because we want to do that whenever our login component mounts. So that's why we have here an empty dependency array. So let's also import use effect. So here in our use effect, we are gonna check the Voximplant client state here. Client state. Come on. Okay. So we are gonna get the client state, and we have to check if it's disconnected. We want to connect. Okay, so for that, let's define the function connect. Let's right away call the connect function, connect. And here, let's do status equal await Vox, this one basically. Not Vox. Dot get, how is it called? Get client state. Get client state. So here we need to check if status is equal to disconnected, or we can first of all check like console log status, and we're gonna see what's the exact status here. Let's restart it, and the status, as you can see here, is disconnected. We could check against string like status disconnected, or we can use the variable that is exported from Voximplant client state dot disconnected, and this is in order not to make mistakes in our strings, or in case they are changed in the future, we want to make sure that we are comparing against the same values. So here what we want to do is to, if it's disconnected, we want to connect. So Voximplant dot connect. Save, and also let's keep logging it status. So in order to see the status being changed. Right now, if I'm gonna refresh, status is connected, as you can see, because we already called the connect method, and the next time that we check the status, it's connected. Okay, let's do, yes, this is the first step, is the connection, and later on we're gonna handle one more status. But now let's implement the login functionalities. So let's go to the next slide. Login with a fully qualified username and password. So whenever we are trying to log in our application, we need to provide to the Voximplant SDK a fully qualified username. And an example of fully qualified username is this one, as you can see here. And it is formed out of a couple of parts. The first one is the username of the user trying to log in. Then and the application name, your application name, then your account name, .voximplant.com. So let's try to already implement, and I'm gonna show you what exactly that means and how to build this string. So we're gonna do vox. It's gonna be a wait, async. Let's do a wait voximplant dot login, and here we need to provide the username, right? The fully qualified username. We can do it like this: const fully qualified username equal to a string, and the password is clear. The password, we just send the password here. So for the fully qualified username, let's compose a string using the backticks below the escape button. And here, the first variable is going to be the actual username of the user. Then we have add, and we have the app name. Then we have dot and account name, and then we have dot voximplant.com. So now let's define this app name and account name, but I'm gonna extract them to let's say constants file. So in the source, I'm gonna add a new file, constants.js, and here let's export const app name, which is equal to a string, and here export const account name. Now, where do we get this app name and account name? They're coming from our Voximplant control panel. So if you even here in our application, we see the we should go to the overview actually. So we see the first part is the application name. The second part is my account name. So in your case, take the first one and put it instead of your app name, video calling, and take the second one and put it here as the account name. Back in our login screen, let's import this to constants, app name and account name. Save. Okay. Let's have a look what's going on there. At this moment, we don't have anything. But before trying to do something, for example, let's add something, we will see that possible unhandled promise rejection. But whenever our login does not succeed, gives an error, it will actually throw this error. So for that reason, we need to put the login inside the try catch error, and if the login, the execution of a login command fails, throws an error for reasons like you don't have internet, or your Voximplant client is not connected, or you have provided incorrect username and password, you're gonna receive an error here. So you can, I don't know, console log it here, and also you can, let's say, alert, and here the error dot, I think we have name, right? Yes, name. And for the message, you can do error code error.code. So we're going to provide a very generic error method whenever, for example, auth results, error code 404. You can go ahead and, based on the error code, define more user-friendly errors, because in Voximplant documentation you will see when the login throws 404, because basically whenever the user is not found, it throws 404. If I add the username to a user that exists, for example, user1, the error will be 401, basically meaning unauthorized, meaning that the password is incorrect. So yeah, you can go ahead and implement more error codes, but I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, one more step. What should happen after the login? After the login, we need to redirect home. Redirect home. Let's implement this function, const redirect home. And here we need to navigate to our home page. So for that, we are gonna need access to the navigation. Use navigation, which is imported from React Navigation Core. And here, redirect home. We can either do simply navigation.navigate contacts, save. And now let's try to do user1, and the password in my case is this one, sign in, and I navigated here. The only thing is that by doing navigate, I can go back to the login screen. And if I press one more time, I'll see another error code 491, which I'm gonna talk about in a moment. But what I want to do is probably I will have to just close the application and open it again to show you the better way of navigation from the login without the possibility to go back to the login screen. And to do that, we're gonna call reset, navigation reset, and the reset will receive an object with index that we want to reset at. Basically remove everything, go to the index 0, and leave only these routes, only the route with a name, the name contacts. Save. So right now, if I do user1, sign in, I'm redirected to the contacts, but there is no way to go back. Not from here, not with physical back button, and so on, by doing reset. Okay, this is how we sign in and how we redirect. The next issue is if I refresh my application like this, reload, I'm gonna do like, I don't know, let's try to log in again. User1, A123123123, sign in. Authentication result, error code 491. And basically what that means, it means that you are already signed in. You don't have to sign in again. So how do we handle this situation when we are already signed in and we don't have to do it again? Well, basically here in the get client state, one of the states of a client, one state can be connected, disconnected, and another state can be logged in. So let's check else if status is equal to Voximplant dot I forgot exactly the logged in. Yes, if it's logged in, if the status of Voximplant is logged in when we open our login page, then we don't need to do anything. We need to redirect home, save. So if I refresh the application again, reload, you saw the login screen for a very short moment, and after that it automatically redirected us to the contact screen because we are already logged in. Perfect. How many users can you register in the free version? In the free version, basically when I talked about the pricing model, you are priced based on the monthly active users. So yeah, I don't remember exactly. I should check that out. All right, we have unsponsored drink. Are you using React Native or CLI or Expo? We're using React Native CLI. Okay. Let me see. Can you help? With the questions related to the other builds, I would suggest to write them on Discord, and I'm going to try to help you, or other members from the community can help you. If you have questions related to today's build, I'm going to try to do them right now, or at the end we can stop and I can discuss anything. Your microphone sound is low. I can increase that, not sure if it's needed, but like this is gonna be probably better, or even, yeah, like this. Okay. What happened to my MacBook? I think I forgot to put the MacBook to charge and it shut down. And this is the advantage of having a two-system live stream setup, because if a live stream would have been from the MacBook, it would be done. But right now, let's wait 1 minute until it opens again. Come on. It doesn't want to start. Hello? Okay, it's coming. It's coming to life. And we are back to it. I love how fast the MacBooks open everything back to where it was before. On a Windows, I would need like 10 minutes to set up everything. Right now, I only have to run the server, to start the development server. Why it happened there? Address already in use. 1 moment. And reload here. So let's try to do user 1. Sign in. All right, perfect. So we are done with login, sign in, and so on. The last thing that I would like to do here is to go inside our assets, data, contacts. And for the first two users, let's give the user 1, and here user 1, and to the second one user 2, in order to be able to easier call one and another, the users. And here we have them, user 1 and user 2. Okay. So we have connected the client. If the client is already logged in, we are redirecting to our contacts page. Otherwise, we give a possibility for user to log in using their fully qualified username and password, which is the fully qualified username is created using the username at application_name.accountname.voximplant.com. So here replace them with your application name and your account name. And yeah, login, connect, password, and so on. All right, so we are getting to the next step. The step where we will try to integrate our calling features. Are you going to build a sign up screen to watch how to register a new user from UI to Vox? It's out of scope for this video. I didn't plan that out, but at the end I can show you some directions on how to register that. So calls, right? Okay, so the first step for our calling screen, for example this one, is to request permissions for Android devices. On iOS this is not needed, but on Android we need to ask these permissions. So let's go ahead in our source screens and the calling screen, which is this one, index, calling screen. And let's add this use effect. The use effect which is gonna run on the first run. Okay. So here for the Android permissions, basically there is no way for me to remember all of this, so let's just copy the code. This should be inside a function const get permissions, which is an async function. Let's put it here. Let's not forget to call it right away. Get permissions. Permissions, like this. Permissions Android we can import from React Native. Permissions Android. Also we need the alert here. And when we're trying to request multiple permissions, we will send here an array of permissions that we want to ask. So let's just declare them here on the top, array of permission that we want. The first one is the record audio permission is equal. And the second one is camera permission. Save. So these two permissions for Android we need to ask, but we don't want to request them for both Android and iOS. We want to request them only if application is running on Android device. So to do that, I'm going to import platform from React Native. And here, before calling get permission, we're going to check if platform.os is equal Android, then get permissions. On iOS, this is not required. So we are requesting multiple permission. Then, based on the answer received from this call, we check if both of this camera and audio permission is set. If it's not set, we are gonna say that permissions not granted. Otherwise, let's set the permissions in our state to know that the permissions are already set. So use effect. Because we don't want to try to do something without having permission, like, I don't know, starting a call without permission will throw an error. That's why we need to keep in state const permission granted and set permission granted. Initially it's going to be use state. Initially it's going to be false. And when we get the permission, we set them to true. But also, if the platform is not Android, if we are running on iOS, we also want to set permission granted to true, because nothing is required here. Save. Use effect. Everything all right here. Let's reload. Oh, I did them twice. Save, reload. Yes, if I... Oh, come on, what's happening with my... That's weird. Hello. My PC just stopped. Very weird. Let's open it again. Hello, Praveen. How are you doing? Okay, it started. We are back. The battery is at 1%, but it's plugged in. Oh my god. Why it's not charging? All right, okay. So, we can see and hear you. Hello, Ramanand. Okay, so the things with the permissions are done. Like this. And let's try to user 1 and password 123 123. Okay, so on iOS nothing is happening. On Android, this will request you to grant the record audio and camera permissions. Okay, let's commit everything. Git add Android permissions. And let's move to the next step. And the next step is to actually make a call. All right. So on this page, we know the username that we are trying to call. So when we get to this page, but only after the permissions are granted, which is another use effect. But this use effect will depend on permissions granted. And it's going to be executed every time our permission granted is changed. So it can also be executed when it's false. So we need to check if permission granted is false. Let's do it like this. Then we don't want to do anything. Return. Otherwise, we would like to make a call. So let's define the make call function, which is going to be asynchronous. And let's call it right away here, make call. Okay, so let's do here, let's do const call equal. We will need the Voximplant SDK here again. So for that, let's do import Voximplant from React Native Voximplant. In our body of our function, somewhere below the route, or let's do it here, let's get the Voximplant instance. We're gonna get it using the get instance method, singleton. And here, so make call await Voximplant.call. And in order to call, we need to provide a couple of arguments. The first one is the user that we want to call, and the second one is the call settings. So let's do const call settings. The call settings will receive video settings, and let's do send video and receive video to true. Send video true and receive video true. Call settings. And the username that we want to call is coming from our user, because whenever we redirect here, basically from our contact screen, when we do navigate calling, we are sending the whole user there. So the user has a display name, and it also has a user name. So let's do it here like this. Call user dot, how is that called? Let's check in the assets. It's user underscore name, and the second parameter should be our call settings. Save. And I don't know, let's console log our call. Let's see the logs here. And let's try to call user 2, for example. Okay, we see some issues. The call actually was created successfully. We see a call ID, and yeah, that's the important part so far. We see this call ID, which means that the call was registered successfully. Reload. User 2 attempted to remove more listeners than added. These warnings are actually coming from the latest React Native version 0.65. So, At this moment, I think we will just ignore them because they should be fixed later. But they do not prevent us from going forward. All right. So we have the call. We are making the call. What next? What is the library for making the call? Yes, it's Voximplant. Create some projects in React.js as well. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so the next step after making a call is to start listening to events. With Voximplant, a lot of things are happening based on events. You receive an incoming call, that's an event, and you need to listen. You start a call, but after that, for example, the other person answers it. This is an event. The other person disconnects. This is an event. So we need to start listening to this call event. And the first two events that I want to implement is the called failed. In order to see whenever the call fails, what is the error. And after that, the progress started. And this event is when we actually start calling the person, when, yeah, like the progress tone starts. So let's implement these two events. But first of all, where we will do them. I'm going to define a new function here, subscribe to call events. Like this. And we're gonna call this function here, subscribe to call events. But because this function, subscribe to call events, will need access to the call itself, I'm gonna extract this variable from here. Where did you go? I'm gonna extract it from here. I'm gonna put it, here, let call. So here we just assign this call variable, and later on here we can say call dot on, and here we need to provide the event Voximplant dot, how are they called, call event. Call events failed, and here is going to be call event. And what should happen when the event failed? I'm gonna display an error. So I don't know, show error call event dot, there is a property there, a reason why it failed. So let me implement this function as well, const show error. And this function will simply do alert, call failed, and the reason is going to be a reason is going to be the property that we get here, reason. Called failed as well here. Come on. And also let's provide some buttons to this alert. So the last property here is the buttons, which is an array, and each button is an object with title or name. How is it? Text. Okay. And the onPress event will navigate back to the contacts page. So onPress navigation.navigate contacts. Save. Call failed, reason temporary unavailable. Okay. Okay, what's happening? Oh, we just received a lot of them. Dismiss, dismiss. Okay, let's try again. Let's try to call user, for example, a user that does not exist, this one. Call failed, not found, which means the user is not found in our database, in the Voximplant database. Okay, but if we're trying to call user2, we see another error, temporarily unavailable, which means that that user is not signed in his account and he cannot receive the calls at the moment. Of course, we can implement, it's possible to call a user who is not using the application at the moment, but for that you would need to integrate push notifications. We will not have time to implement that in this video, so for that reason I'm gonna open another emulator. But before doing that, let's remember that whenever we subscribe to some events in React Native, we should make sure to unsubscribe. And because we are subscribing in this use effect, let's also unsubscribe here. So to unsubscribe in a use effect, we return a function. This function is going to be called when the component unmounts. So what do we want to do there? We want to unsubscribe from those events. Let me try to remember where. Oh, it's Voximplant off. Or better call dot off. And here is the name of the event we want to unsubscribe from. Save. All right, so let's try to run the same application on an Android device. npm run Android. In order to be able to call, to see the calls from the device, from one device to another one. Okay, how to put them? They're gonna be just a bit smaller. Go away. So here is the Android, here is the iOS, and here is our code. Can you see everything? So let's wait until the application is running on Android. Fire content, yeah, let's go. Okay, the application is running on our Android device. And here we need to log in. Now log in with your second account. In my case, it's user2. So let's remember, our Android is user2. Okay, so now if I will try to call from the Android device, remember that the first step that we do when we get to the next screen is to check the permission, to get the permission. So let's check if we implemented them correctly. I'm gonna press on the user1 here on my Android device. And the first step, the thing is that I already gave the permissions, so that's why it didn't ask. But in your case, it should ask you to do that. So I'm not gonna reinstall the application just to show you that, but Yeah, I can do console log here just to show you that these permissions are granted. So console warn, I can do save. I can see here Android permission camera granted, Android permission record audio granted. Good. Save. Okay, so what I wanted to do, subscribe to call events, failed. Reason. Okay, this is one. The second one that I wanted to implement right now was which one? Okay, was, yeah, let me find the presentation. Yes, the second event that I wanted to implement is the progress tone start. So when the progress tone starts, let's copy this subscribe to call event. Progress tone start. What do I want to do? Not to show an error, but to update the status of a call. Basically, I want to display, instead of ringing here in the middle of the screen, I will display the status call. For that, I'm gonna need a use state const. Let's start it from the top. Call status and set call status. Use state. Initially was the call status. I don't know, initializing, right? And when it's being progress started, I can set call status in calling. And let's render it, instead of here ringing this number, let's do call status, save. So now it's calling. If I go back, come on, and start calling again, I see initializing, and after that it moves to calling, which means that we get into this progress tone function. Before that, from iOS, for example, if I was calling user2, it gave me an error that is unavailable. Now that I logged in from the user2, basically this is the requirement. We need to be logged in from both users to be able to see them. I see that it already starts the call and it shows me that the progress tone is going. Basically, we are waiting for the other person to answer. Again, if I try to call someone else, call failed, not found. That's what we want to all have at this moment. Whenever I call from iOS the user2, I should see calling. Whenever I call someone else, I should see an error, call failed. Perfect. Okay. Can we do the same in Expo? That's a good question. I didn't try, but I would guess no. But yeah, give it a try. I should talk with the developers from Voximplant to see. I think that they depend on native functionality. Okay, guys, so let's bring back here. Call failed, call progress started. these are the other events that we want to implement. Basically, the call connected and call disconnected. These are two events that are also very important for our call. And the connected is whenever the other user answers the call and you join both the call. Disconnected is when the other user leaves the call and you are disconnected from the call. So let's do it like this. Where is it? In our subscribe to call events, let's do call.on Voximplant.call events connected call event. What do we want to do? We set call state to connected, and the other one is call on disconnected. So let's do it like this. And when we disconnect, basically disconnected, when we disconnect, we want to navigate back to our contacts page. So navigation.navigate contacts. Save. Let's not forget to unsubscribe from these 3 events that we just added. So let's duplicate these 3 more times. And unsubscribe from the progress tone start, unsubscribe from the connected, and unsubscribe from the disconnected. Save. And if I try to call, for example, user2, calling, that's good. In order for me to show you the disconnected part, we can implement the hang up button from here. So first of all, that button is inside our call action box. So let's do on hang up press. We're gonna call on hang up press method that we can implement here. Const on hang up. Is it here? Yeah, it's gonna be a bit more interesting, to be honest, but let's try to do it. Then in our call action box, if we open this component, at the moment we don't receive any properties, but we need to receive on hang up press, right? That's how we called it, on hang up press. And for that red button here, of the on press should be on hang up press, which means that we don't need this local function. Save. Back in our calling screen, what should happen here when we press on hang up? We need to do call dot hang up. We need to hang up the call, but the thing is that we do not have access to this call there, so we need to move it back even more. So let's move it back here. On the top, but yeah, let call, and here we can do call hang up. The thing is that, yeah, like when we want to have variables here, this call is gonna be reinitialized every time we re-render our application. To prevent that, we can use a React reference, and in that case, we will persist the same variable to the call whenever the application re-renders, whenever the component re-renders. And yeah, use ref. Let's do it like this, and it's gonna be a const call equal use ref. So call, then whenever we work with a call, we need to work with a call dot current to assign it to the current value of our call. Okay, Same goes for our call.on. Like this, where here as well the call.off. Let's do call dot. So here is current. Yeah, perfect. Now in our function hang-up press, now we have access to call.current.hangup. I think that's how it's called, hangup. Yeah, the only thing that we need to do, hang up, and we don't need to do anything else because this function will trigger a disconnected event, and the disconnected event should redirect us back to the contacts. So if I do, if I call user2 from here, it's calling, and if I press hang up, attempted, this is that error that we need to just ignore, but the thing is that we are redirected back. Again, from the Android, if I call user1, initializing, calling, if I hang up, it goes back. This error is only on iOS as I see. Okay, so this is how we can hang up a phone, how we can listen to disconnected event, and we navigate whenever our user is disconnected. The next step is the connected. How, the next step is with the connected. Let's check our presentation. So call connected, call disconnected. We tested this one. We didn't test the call connected event because to do that, first of all, the other device should join the call, should answer the call. Because only then this event call connected event is fired. So to do that, we need to start listening to a different type of events, not events specific about one single call, but events about incoming calls. We register this listener on the Voximplant based on the incoming call, and whenever an incoming call is happening, this function is going to be executed inside it. So in that situation, we want to redirect to the incoming call screen that we already have. Okay, where should that happen? Come on. Okay, where should that happen? That should happen inside our, let's say, inside our contact screen here. It can actually be a general, like in app.ts, because you always want to listen to the incoming calls. But for the reason of this demo, I'm gonna work with listening to incoming calls only when we are on the contact screen, on this screen that you see here. Okay, so let's first of all import Voximplant, import Voximplant from React Native Voximplant. Let's get a reference to it, Voximplant equal .get instance. Okay, so in another use effect, when the contact screen mounts with an empty dependency array, we will do what? We will do Voximplant on. We will register an event. What's the event? It's Voximplant dot, how is it called? Client's event incoming call. Okay. Then the function will receive incoming call event and will execute something. What will it do whenever we receive a call? We will simply do navigation.navigate to the incoming call. I think that's how it's called. Okay. So let's try to Yeah, and one more thing, let's unsubscribe whenever we unmount. So voximplant.off, and we give the same name as here to unsubscribe. So let's try to do it from iOS to Android. So from iOS, I'm calling user2. And on Android, I see automatically how the application redirected to this incoming call screen. All right, so besides the redirecting there, let's also send some data there. So the call that we want to send, that will contain details about the call that you're receiving, can be taken from the event.call. Event.call. Perfect. Okay. Now the next steps for us are going to be in our screens, incoming call screen index. Here, first of all, let's get access to the call that we receive from the route. So to do that, let's import use route from React Navigation Native, and let's do it here on the top. So const route equal use route. From there, we will take the call route.params. From the parameters of the route, we will take the call. Okay. So on decline, what should happen on decline? We need to do call.decline simply. So we can do call.decline. Let's save. And let's try to call again, user2. Here, let's try to decline. Call failed, declined. Perfect. Should we also... I think we should also sign up for the disconnect events here, or we can simply do call decline and then redirect back. Okay, incoming call events. Yes, we will also sign up for the disconnect part. Okay, perfect. So inside the use effect, let's do call.on vox so basically in our calling screen, I'm gonna take this disconnected event. Basically, I can take the whole thing. So call Voximplant. We need to import it, of course. Let's do it here. Import. Oh, use effect, not from here. What's going on there? Use effect. And also let's import Voximplant from React Native Voximplant, like this. And what else? We will need the navigation. So besides use route, use navigation. Also, let's take the navigation using use navigation hook. And here, if we are disconnected, we're gonna redirect to the contacts. Let's test it out. So I'm calling user2. Here I should undefined is not an object evaluating call current on. Call current. Yeah, because it's not current, it's just call on. Let's hang up here and let's try again. Okay, here I see the call. If I press decline, I am automatically redirected to the contacts on both screens, which is good. On the Android, it's happening here, like in the incoming call screen. When we get the disconnected event, we are redirecting to the navigation contacts page. What if we use this as voice call only. Yeah, that's also possible. The only difference that you will do when you initialize a call for the video, you set send video false, receive video false. That's it. If we want to show who is calling, basically we want to show who is calling, let's, I don't know, const, we will keep them in state. So caller, set caller with 2L. Use state initially null. And yeah, here in use effect when we receive it. Okay, I see one more thing. Don't forget to unsubscribe for the events that we subscribe. So I'm gonna do call.off. This. Okay, back to our caller. How do we get the username of a caller? We can do it by doing call.get endpoints, and the endpoints are different the relationships between users and the yeah, basically end users are the endpoints. So the get endpoint will return us all the users from this call, but we know that the user which is calling us is at position 0. So by doing that get endpoint at position 0 dot display name, yeah, set caller. Yeah, let's do dot display name and let's set it in state, set caller display name. Let's initialize it with empty string, and also let's import it if it didn't automatically. Use state set caller like this, and scrolling back, instead of hard-coded text Alex here, we can do caller. And by doing this, now if I call, we should see who is calling, but get endpoint is not a function. Call get endpoints, endpoints, not endpoint. Let's hang up. Let's try again. User 2. Okay, I see that user 1 is calling. And if I decline, okay. And if from user 2 I call user 1, here I should see user 2 is calling. Perfect. Now everything works dynamically as expected. Not found. Okay, okay. All right. So we are listening to, okay, what should happen on accept? On accept, we should redirect basically to the same calling screen. And instead of making a call, we should answer the call, because these are the only two differences. In one case, a user is making a call. In our case, the user is answering the call, but everything else, all the logic is the same. For example, subscribing to the events, showing the error, progress on start, and so on. All of this logic is similar for both users, both in case of you calling someone and in case you receiving the call. So for that reason, we are gonna do both logic of answering and calling in the calling screen. And at the end of the day, we will not even need the call screen entirely. But yeah, we're gonna see how to manage that a bit later. But before that, I want to grab some water, because we need to stay hydrated, and I haven't stayed hydrated during this live stream. So I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes, guys. Stay tuned. All right, and I'm back. How are you doing? Are you still here? We are getting there. We are getting there. Will this also have chat features? No, we're not going to integrate chat features here. I think we had a lot of chat application already on the channel. So yeah. Just discovered your channel. Your videos are sick. I think you make the best React Native tutorials on the planet. Thank you very much, Coding Fire. That's really nice. Thank you. All right, so have a water. We can continue. So as I said, in the incoming call screen, when we accept a call, what should we do? We should navigate to the calling, right? Calling. And we will send, here we will actually send the call that, we will send the call because the call object is already initialized. We just need to answer it. And also let's say that let's pass an incoming call property to true in order to understand from our calling screen if this is an incoming call or if we should make a call. Navigation calling. Okay, so let's grab our keynote. On accept, navigation calling, we send the call. Okay. The next step is to answer to a call. So to do that, we just call the answer function on our call object, and that's it. So let's go to the calling screen. Before calling the answer method, we still have to do a couple of things. First of all, from the route here, let's destructure not only the user, but let's take user call, because if we are answering, we will receive a call, and is or incoming call. How did we call it? Incoming call, incoming call. This is the property that I also want. The thing is that we already have a call variable here. So from the params is gonna be, I'm gonna rename it to incoming call. And actually we can right away initialize our call with the incoming call that we receive from the params. And in case it's undefined, of course it's going to be undefined, but later on when we make a call, we create it using voximplant.call. But when we are receiving an incoming call, okay, this is going to be not incoming call, is incoming call. And also let's go back here to rename it is incoming call. Actually, yeah, it's better to prefix your booleans with is. So is true, is false, or so on. Is incoming call. All right, so when we do this make a call function, we need to check if we need to do that. So if is incoming call, we need to answer call. Otherwise, we need to make the call. So let's define the answer call function near our make call function to be close together. Async. And here, our call is already in is already defined here, so we can right away subscribe to call events. And after that, we can answer the call. So call.current.answer. And we answer with the same call settings that we have here, with sending video and receiving video. Call.answer, and we subscribe to the events. Okay, now if everything is working, the only thing that we will understand that we implemented it correctly is if we will see this connected status. Because from one device we make a call, from another we answer the call. Here we should answer and the connection should be established, and both of them should say connected. Let's see if it works. So from where to where? Let's try from iOS to call user 2. On iOS we see calling. Here we see user 1 is calling us. Let's accept. On both devices we see connected. On both devices we see connected, which is good. Perfect. Actually, that's perfect. Whew. And I think they can also hear each other. If I turn on the volume or do something, I should see the sounds. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works with the devices, but if later on in the video I'm gonna connect my real device in order to test everything out, so at that point we will see if everything is working as we expect. All right, so the next step, besides showing connected, let's also show the videos themselves. So here, if on one device I press disconnect, both of them will be redirected home. And that error is coming not from our implementation. If on iOS I press connected, and you should also be disconnected. Come on. It's frozen. But yeah, both of them are going back here. All right, let's see the next step in our use case. And we should display the video itself. Show the timestamps. We're gonna add the timestamps after the video is published. I cannot do that while going live. Got the water. Okay, so the first step is to display our video. Okay, to display our video. So the first step in order to display our video is to subscribe to an event called local video stream added. This event will contain the video stream ID, and by using this video stream ID we can render the video itself on the screen. So let's implement this event listener in subscribe to call events here. So Voximplant, come on. Call event, local video stream added, and call event, we are setting local video stream ID to the event video stream ID. Let's define this state variable. Local video stream this is the setter, local video stream ID, use state, and also let's, while we are here, local video stream ID, let's define one more because we will need it for the remote video stream ID. So instead of local, remote, set remote video stream ID. Okay, save. Okay, so with that video stream ID, we can start rendering a video stream, a video on our UI. So how is that gonna happen? I don't know, we can try to do it here. So Voximplant dot video view, and this video view should receive a video stream ID. So local video stream, yeah, no, video stream ID is equal local video stream ID, and the style is gonna be styles dot local video or self view local video. I don't know, let's call it local video. Let's define the styles for local video, and the styles for the local video we already have, but we style them in another screen, in the call screen, if you remember. So here we see camera preview with width, height, and position absolute. This is what we need, the position absolute. But basically I'm gonna take everything and put in the local video here. So let's test it out if we see our video. On iOS, on iOS emulator, the video camera is not working. On Android, it is simulated. Basically, it shows something there. So let's try to call user1 from our Android, and we will already see our video feed. Basically, these yellow and squares, these are the video stream. So this is how it looks on an emulator. If we would run this on a real device, we will see our camera. Okay. We're gonna test that in a moment, but let's think about how to add the remote video. Basically, when I answer, yeah, here on iOS, the virtual camera is not working, but at least we want to see the video stream that is coming from Android, which for iOS is a remote video stream coming from the cloud. Okay, so to display a remote video, we will have to subscribe to a couple of events. The first one is we will subscribe to the endpoint added on our call, basically. And endpoint added is going to be the function that is going to be called whenever the second user is joining. The second endpoint is joining the call. So let's add it call current.on call events dot and endpoint added, but I don't have it there, so I'm gonna copy it from here. Call event, and the function will be here like this. So what should happen when an endpoint is added? When the endpoint is added, let's first of all save it with a reference the same way as we save a call. So call endpoint, use ref. Initially it's null endpoint. Okay, so here we will do endpoint dot current is equal to call event dot endpoint, right? Yes. And after that, that's not it. Now, now the endpoint itself will fire different kind of events. The endpoint, I don't know, think about it as a person who you're talking with. And when you answer the call, first of all, the connection is made, but after some time, the video stream starts getting sent. So it's not right away. And for that reason, we need to subscribe to these endpoint events. in order to listen to, okay, the user started sharing his camera, we need to do something about it. Okay, the user stopped sharing his camera, we need to do something about it. So let's declare a const subscribe to endpoint event. It's async. And here, let's do what? We're gonna work with endpoint.current.on, and the event that it fires is gonna be called Voximplant endpoint events remote video stream added. Remote video stream added. So whenever a remote video stream is added on that specific endpoint, we want to save the ID. So endpoint event function, and here we want to set remote video stream ID with endpoint event dot video stream dot ID. Save. And let's not forget to subscribe to this, to call this subscribe to endpoint events after we set it in our reference. Okay, what will we do? Let's simply copy paste this video view. Send here remote video stream ID and add styles here to remote video. And in our styles, I'm gonna copy the local video styles, rename it simply to remote, and it's gonna have the same properties, except instead of right, I'm gonna do left. I can do it twice as big, I don't know, just for us to see which one is which. So the twice as big is the remote video. Let's have a look what's happening. I'm gonna restart both of them. Hello from Cameron. Hello. Okay. Decline. Come on, decline. Z. Reload. Reload. So let's try to call from Android to iOS. Android, why you're not displaying the camera? The camera thing on emulators is so inconsistent. So I'm just gonna try to restart the application. Video call. And let's try to log in user 1. And on Android with user 2. So from Android, let's try to call user 1. Okay, I see the camera. If I answer on iOS, on the left I should see the Android video, but I don't. And I know why. If we do it the other way around, if I call user2 from iOS and I answer here, you see the video is starting to come here from Android to iOS. The small one is local, big one is remote. That's good, because yeah, whenever we are making a call, we are subscribing to this endpoint events. Oh, you know why it didn't work the other way around? The other way around is, let's see where we call subscribe to events. Subscribe to endpoint events. We are calling it when a new endpoint is added. But when we receive the call, that call already has the endpoint. So when we answer the call, we should do endpoint.current equal to endpoint current is equal to what? To call.current, get endpoint at position 0, basically first person who initialized the call. And after that, let's call subscribe to endpoint events. And now let's stop everything here. What's going on with Android? Okay. Now the Android should answer the call, right? Or should call, oh my god, I'm lost. User 2, 123. I messed up the password. Sign in. Who should make the call to test this? Answer call should be on Android. No. Oh my god. Let's try from Android to iOS. User 1. I see the video. And when I answer, I see the video. No, the other way around. From iOS to Android, let's try. From iOS, let's call user 2. Okay, now I don't see anything, but if I answer, the video is automatically connected. Perfect. Now it's just to think about how to style them properly. Okay, and then we're gonna test them properly. Well, to style them, I'm just thinking, what if we just do it like this? So the remote video will be left 0, right 0, and it's not gonna have a width. Basically from one side to another, like this. And the top, we can say 0, and bottom, it shouldn't be 0, it should be around 100 because we still have this thing. And we don't need the height. Save. Boom. And background color, we could play with that because call screen, I don't know. We had this purple remote video. Save. Okay. And yeah, the only thing is that we need to render the local video after the remote video, or to play around with z index. Yes, like this. So let's try it again. Android is very laggy right now, but in a moment I'm gonna test it with a device. So here, what I want to do is open video call application. What's the first step? First step for what specifically? Oh, how for learning React Native. Oh, I'm gonna answer that question at the end, like in around 20 minutes. We finish with this one, and I'm gonna answer. So password. Let's try to call user 1. Okay, I see everything. Answer. And yeah, perfect. It's there. So what I want to do now is to test it on a real device. For that, I'm gonna close the Android simulator. We can make this one a little bit bigger. I'm gonna connect the device directly to my computer. All right. Come on. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to run again npm run Android. And because it's connecting on my device, it should be running here. Let's see. So let me sign up with user 2. Sign up. Okay, and from here let's call user 1. All right, I see it. And connecting. Hello, I am here. The emulator, yeah, that's what I was showing you. The video is displayed properly here on the phone. It's very laggy, but it's working. Like, look at this. It's very, very laggy because it's running on a simulator, but on 2 different devices, it should run perfectly. Unfortunately, I cannot run it on 2 different devices, but yeah, let's stop the call. And yeah, that's it. It's done. We have implemented. Let's go. Oh my God. So let me check if that was everything that we have planned to do. And yeah, that was everything actually that we have planned to do. We have a working video calling application. And yeah, take it from here. And there are a lot of things to improve in this application. There are things to improve on user management. For example, to integrate a database to save all the users there in order to be able to display them here. And whenever you try to connect with someone, you take it from the list. Here I try to call myself. You can also implement features like opening the camera, switching the camera, turning off the microphone. Oh, I didn't test the, actually I didn't test the audio. So let me, hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very weird. Come on. I'm not sure if audio from iOS is actually, oh, hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Come on. Hello. Yeah, it's quite slow on emulator. Okay, now it's better. Hello. Why? Maybe it's on Android that I was able to hear it. All right. Yeah, now it's better. Call Elon Musk. Yeah, let's do it. Let me think. Why do... Well, I will be able to run it on a third device. So you npm run Android. Before everything, I'm just gonna do git status, git add, calls. Perfect. let me try to register the third user. To users. Create user, user free, password, the password, yeah, user free. Create, and back in our code, let's edit the data contacts for the, no, I don't want to change Elon Musk there. Or let's do user free is Elon Musk. Okay, so on Android here, let's log in with user free, sign in, and let's call user one, which is my phone. Maybe on Android it's gonna work better. User one. No, user one is this one. I want user two. Hello. Hello. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Hello, hello, hello. Oh no, what's going on? Hello. That's quite weird. The thing is that at the moment I'm not sure if it's actually not working or if it's my emulators that are not working, that are not sending them the voice. So the only thing that I want to check is the settings, the call settings. The call settings. Let's go through some documentations for Voximplant. Docs, documentation for the video. Calls, I want a peer-to-peer chat. And here is the documentation for peer-to-peer. Okay, but it's for the web, but I think it should be similar. So let's just have a look. It's connect. On incoming call, answer, receive video, send video. Answer automatically is better to show the dialog. Let answer project. Create call, receive video, send video. Yeah, that's the only options that they are doing. But why I am putting them inside video? That's probably related to our React Native. Let me double check what the call expects. I cannot. Oh, come on. Call events, endpoint events. Yeah, by the way, here, if you go to the documentation references React Native, you can check the call events and you can listen to more call events that we have. For example, what are here important? I don't know, message receive if you are trying to implement messaging in your application, and Voximplant actually supports this. You can listen to this message received event, which will give you the name of the event, the text containing the message, and so on. What other events that you might be interested? Progress tone stop, connected, endpoint added, local video stream removed, something to you can listen to this event and tell something like your camera stopped working or something like this. Okay, call event types. Call answer. Call settings. This is what I'm trying to check. Call settings. Custom data. Yeah, video, custom data, preferred video codec, extra, setup, call kit. Yeah, it's video. That's what we were doing. Video flags. Should be receive video, send video. Yeah, we are doing it properly. So I'm guessing that it everything works. It's just our emulator is not playing the sound. Try it on a real device. I am trying on a real device, but again, like the second device is the emulator. So I need to test it on two different Android devices, but I don't have two of them near me. Or I can connect my iOS device and try to run it from Xcode. That's also an option. Let's try to do that. Yes, I'm gonna try to do that. So first of all, I need to find the cable. One moment, I'm grabbing the cable to be able to test it on iOS. All right, cable is here. Let's open a project or a file. And from here, projects, video call, iOS. And no, not like this. Open. We need the workspace. Yes. Vadim, I can run it on my device here since I'm following along with you. And you are connected to... Yes, actually, we can do that. Did you manage to do it until now, everything? Because that's actually possible. You can connect to the same application with the same name on my account with a different user, and I can try to call you. Yeah. Let me know if your username, or you can sign in with some user one, and the password is A123123123. But make sure you have in your constants the app name video calling and account name Savin Vadim. Not to forget to delete this app name. Okay. I have it here. Come on, let's try registration. Why it doesn't support? I need to upgrade my... Really? Yeah, I need to upgrade. Yes, I have pushed it to the GitHub, so failed to push some refs. Okay, git pull. Git pull origin main. Oh, and git push. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to test it here because my Xcode, I need to upgrade it. About Xcode. Okay, so yeah, if someone will be able to run it on their device, and we can try to call each other to see what's going on. What else? What else? React Native, Voximplant. Okay. I don't know. Let's try to find mute. Oh, there is a on no audio signal invoked if no audio is captured by the microphone. Issue level can be only quality level critical if issue is detected or if the issue is not detected or resolved. Vox engine mute. Where is it coming from? Recorder. I'm wondering how you can mute the microphone. Okay, Voximplant. Alex is suggesting to update the Xcode meanwhile. Yeah, let's try to Xcode update. We couldn't complete it. There is not enough disk space. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Nothing is working to be able to properly test it. Now, video flags. Send info, send tone, decline, receive video, send audio, send message, send video. Custom data. I am running my app on my end. And what user are you signed in with? First of all, oh my god, 1 second. Just let me know what user are you working with. I forgot how to use an Android device. Here we have video call. I need to run again it on Android. npm run Android. So complicated. All right. I connected it the wrong way. So transfer files and what else? Allow USB debugging. Okay. Run Android. Are you signed in already? Okay, let me sign in. I'm gonna sign in with user 2. I'm calling someone with user 1. Not sure who is that. One, two, three. Hello, hello. Oh, I can hear it on the. It's not on the speaker. It's on the. How is it called? That's interesting. Hello. Hello, hello. I think you can hear it. Yes, it's working. The only issue is not. And I think I remember I had the same issue when the audio was coming not from the speaker, but from the earpiece. And not sure why, but as I remember, yes, you can use user 1 and we can give it a try. I'm gonna, yeah. But yeah, it's working. Let's just try it one more time. I just heard that the sound is going. We can see how it works with 2 users. If you have any questions, guys, let me know. Let's cover some questions that you have. Okay, so waiting for a call from someone. All right. How is the course going? I had a lot of progress this week. I'm almost done preparing the application, and in the weekend or during the next week, I'm gonna film it. So yeah, I can share with you how huge this course is gonna be. Like, I'm trying now to think what's the best way to keep it concise, because it's a lot of features that I want to cover. So we need to take it step by step. Let me just... You never used Xcode, but with React Native, you don't need to use Xcode a lot. Alexandra, in a moment. Let me just, how is it? By the way, really appreciate the income report. Really cool. Thank you very much. It was a bit weird and stressful for me to share. I don't know, like I couldn't see like what would be the reaction. But what I wanted to do there is not to brag, but I wanted to inspire and to show you how step by step like this community grows and into a business. So yeah, here is what I wanted to share with you. Here are just like a couple of features already mapped out that the course is gonna cover. So as you can see here, like everything starts with, of course, project setup, but then we go into the UI. And here we cover the homepage, the comments page, the profile page with profile details, the grid view, the edit profile of Instagram, the uploading stories, uploading post, the navigation, stories, feed stories, like it's a lot. Like, look at this. And then we get into the backend, then in the different system, like following system, notification system, push notification, testing, DevOps, liking system, hooks, performance, hashtags, dark light mode, internationalization, fonts, React Native web. Like it's a bit scary for me, like how huge it's gonna be, but yeah, it's exciting. So if you are not yet on the wait list for the course, check out in the description below the link academy.notjust.dev. Sign up for the waiting list, and when everything here is gonna go public, you're gonna be the first one to be notified about it. So yeah, that's huge. Yeah, indeed. But with proper like mapping and doing it step by step, like it's possible. So, are you calling me sniper or not yet? The call is shown on the locked iPhone. Is that a question? At the moment, the calls are not redirected, are not going through if the application is not running. However, if you are integrating push notifications, you can make it like this, that whenever I call a user that is not using the application, he will receive a push notifications, which will open the application, will open the call, and he will be able to answer it. So that's also possible with Voximplant. Yeah, projects like this take time. Yeah, indeed, it's the Instagram clone. Like, I want to cover like all the features, not all, like I understand, and everyone understand that I'm not gonna cover all of them, but I want to cover the main features in a production ready way. Let's say what's the main features in an Instagram, like the feed, how they render the feed, this following system, checking people profiles, the liking system, hashtags, simple user tag, and so on. Like, these are systems that take a lot of time, and they are very important and quite intermediate to advanced, I would say, to make them in a scalable way as well, so that it's not working only with 10 users, but it's going to work the same way with 10,000 users and 10 million users. Voximplant downloads were a little slow. The what? The library? I'm still waiting for your call. When are you planning to continue the authentication? How is it called? Series. The authentication series. I already explained this, but we're gonna continue them. I promise we're gonna do that sooner or later. I haven't started working on the next videos yet. I only have them as planned, but this period of time, all of my energy besides the weekly live stream is going towards the course, because as you saw, like how much work is there to be done, and I'm kindly only one in these regards, so I'm doing this myself, and yeah, like it's gonna come, the authentication. I want to continue our UI with implementing authentication with AWS Amplify. When implementing another video is going to be about social providers, how to implement login with Facebook, with Google, with Apple, and so on. Another one will be, but here, like, I'm not going to promise anything. Like, let's stop here. These two definitely are planned and are going to come hopefully by the end of the year. Yeah. So, will you implement the Instagram chat as well? Not from the beginning. And I haven't decided yet if we are going to implement the Instagram chatting. Maybe we are going to create another full stack course, very in-depth course on chatting application, which will cover these chatting functionalities, because when you think about it, like social media and chatting, these are two separate use cases. Yes, you usually, in most cases, you merge them together, and the social media has also chatting functionality. But I want to cover chatting as a separate use case, separate, yeah. Is that possible with JS and Electron? The Voximplant? Yes, Voximplant, they provide web SDKs. And so here in web SDK, you would be able to work with it. Password is A123123. Hello, lab from India. Thank you very much. A more general course. The courses that I'm building are general in a way that, like, they're very specific for a use case. For example, the Instagram clone will cover and will focus on building a social media application. During that, yes, of course, you're going to learn React Native, you're going to learn AWS Amplify, and you're going to learn a lot of more things for mobile development. We're going to take another use case later on, for example, a chatting application, and we're going to do a separate course, a very in-depth course of covering everything when it comes to chatting application, because it's a lot. So, yeah. Thank you for answering. Do you think it's a waste of time to implement authentication backend from scratch? Is it the reason you want to do it with Amazon Amplify? Well, here is how you balance things, because Doing it on your own, you have more flexibility, and in some cases that's necessary. Oh, I get a call. Wait a minute. I'm gonna get back to that. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Connected. Hello. Oh my God, someone is dancing there. Can you hear me, by the way? I'm not... Yeah, that's weird. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you talk? Yes. The thing is that I see we are having a call. Not sure why it's still not, I cannot hear it. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, okay, let's get back. Yes, weird. When I tested, the audio was going. Here, what might be the problem? Yeah, I'm gonna get back to see what's the issue with sound, because most probably might be from the device itself, because as I showed you, it was working. So I'm gonna double check it afterwards with 2 different devices. So yeah, but getting back to the custom backend and using Amplify or any other cloud solutions like Amplify or Firebase as well. So as I was saying, here it depends on how you balance things. On the one side, if you do it yourself, you're gonna have more flexibility. In some cases that's required because, I don't know, you want to handle everything yourself, or you have some very specific requirements to handle authentication yourself. I don't know, let's say you are building a banking application. In that case, most probably you are required to handle the authentication yourself. On the other side, if you do it yourself, you're gonna have to invest a lot of time into building it in a secure way, to implement proper security measurements in a scalable way, and fault tolerance, come on, is also very important, because if, for example, you don't implement some kind of backup systems and you lose your database, you lose all your users. So there are a lot of things that you should take into consideration when building it yourself. When using a solution like Amplify for authentication, all of these things are already there, and they are built by professionals for professionals. There are applications with millions of users using Amplify, and my MacBook is going to shut down in a moment. There are startups with millions of users that are using AWS infrastructure. So you know that the security there, the scalability is already in place, ready for you to just use it. So yeah, instead of spending those 2, 3, 4, 6 months implementing a custom system, look around and see if there are already tools that you can integrate and use without reinventing the wheels. The same comes when you're trying to build a video calling application. In order to build a video calling application from scratch without using any commercial tools, you would need a lot of time, and probably our live stream wouldn't be 2 hours, but it would be at least 2 days or something like that. But to build it in a scalable way with all the features behind it, also in a secure way, you would probably need a couple of months and a team of 2-3 developers. But for startups, time is the most important resource, and the faster you go to market, the better. And in that case, you're looking okay, Voximplant is providing this solution, and I can decrease the time to market by half a year, let's say. How much is this saving me? How much time of development is saving me? How much opportunity cost, because as faster you are deploying your application, the better. So yeah, think about that. See what's more important for you. Is it time, money, resources, everything. Pick what's most important and then choose wisely. So yeah. You could hear me, but the volume was low. The volume was low because the sound was coming from, not from the speaker, but from the earpiece. One moment, guys. Okay, so perfect. If she was able to hear me, that's amazing, and everything works. Not sure what's up with my device, but yeah. So guys, thank you very much for joining today's stream. Thank you very much for staying till the end, and thank you Voximplant for sponsoring this video and for providing such user-friendly and developer-friendly SDKs that save us so much time in implementing a custom solution for these complicated features like video calling, audio calling, and so on. These are very advanced stuff, and if trying to do it yourself, like, it's quite complicated and it's very time consuming. So it's better to not reinvent the wheel, see what's available there, check out Voximplant and try to use it in your next application if you are trying to implement video, audio, or even messaging communication. So with that being said, let's roll the outro. Check out, again, this video or this video. They're both amazing. And till the next week, we are going live every week, Friday, 3 p.m. GMT. So be here, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I am out. Whoa, let's go.